All right, so today we are going to talk about LabWork 1. So here is the answer key. So here we go. Number one. All right, number one says y is giving you y equals 3x squared plus 7. And it also gives you the point 327 and asking you if 327 is a solution for this equation. So what I know is that I have my x value here and my y value here. So I'm going to plug into the equation and see what I get. So I'm going to get 27. Is that equal to 3 times 3 squared plus 7? So 27 is equal to 3 times. Now, order operation tells me I have to square that 3 first because exponent is first. Okay, so now order operation tells me to multiply or divide from left to right. So now I have is 27 equal to 27 plus 7. So is 27 equal to 34? And the answer is obviously no. So that would be choice B. There you go. So there's choice B. All right. All right. To number two. All right. Number two says it's giving you negative 413, negative 3, 6, 0, negative 3, 3, 6, and 5, 22. I know this is kind of annoying, so let's do this here. This down. Oopsies. What it's going to do. Yep. There we go. Better? All right. So what it's asking for is asking for domain, range, and if it's a function or not. Okay. So domain, as you guys know, is all the x values, right? So let me put here x values. Okay. So if the domain is all the x values, then I know that I have negative 4. Actually, you know what? Let's do one better. So all the x values. So here are my x values. So my domain, since I'm listing it, I have to use set notation. So it's negative 4, negative 3, 0, 3, and 5. And then we're talking about the range. Well, that is all the y values. Okay, so my y values are these ones here. Okay, so before I list that, let me move this up and down a little further. There we go. Let's come back here again. So my range is going to be 13, 6, negative 3, 6, I already have, and 22. Now typically I would put all of these numbers in numerical order, okay? But if you look at the choices, that's something that they did not do. Now, is it a function or not? All right, so question is function or not a function, right? So the way we looked at function was we talked about food poisoning, right? One input ending up with two outputs, right, is not a function. So one input resulting in two outputs, right? Better yet, let's not even talk about it in that sense. Let's say because we know that input is x and output is y, let's call it even better. So one x value giving me two y values. Okay, so you look at this as going, oh, I have two of the same y values, but that's not the case. It's one input, two different outputs. Remember, I ate the food and it came out of both ends, two different ends. It didn't come out at the same end because then there'd still be one output. All right. So, um, so when you look at this, this actually means that the x repeats. Okay. So if you look on these numbers here, none of the x values actually repeated, right? So in that case, then it is a function. Okay, it is a function. So, including with that, I'm going to also box my domain and my range with the function aspect. And I'm going to actually extend this out a little bit. And that is choice A. Undo. And that was choice A. There we go. All right. So there we go. So now we're off to number three. Number three is where I need this graph. So I want to bring this graph over. Okay. So it's asking for me for the domain and range of this. All right. So you guys might be questioning, well, how do I know domain and range? Well, domain, again, is all the x values, right? So domain, x values. Well, if you remember x values go left and right? Only left and right. So if you look at this graph, there are arrows here, all right? So that means this graph just goes on, waving up and down, up and down, up and down, forever to the right and forever to the left. So if you, as you're looking at this, if I want to look at just the x values, right, and not let the y values even seep into my head, what I want to do is take like a crusher, right, like a car crusher, right? So I essentially have something up top here, right, that is on a hydraulic, and on the bottom here, I have another thing that's hydraulic, and it is going up from the bottom and going down from the top. So that's going to crush this graph so that it gets flattened out. So it only is left with left and right. Okay. If I do that, what happens? Right? That's a question. What happens if I did that? So let me just erase those. So what's going to happen is that this is going to just end up being something like this. Okay. So this is pointing to negative infinity, which is forever to the left, and positive infinity, which is forever to the right. So therefore, my domain is going to go from negative infinity to positive infinity. And the reason why we use parentheses is because I'm never going to actually physically touch negative infinity, nor positive infinity. That's why they're both parentheses. All right. Now, range. Range is all my y values. Okay. So again, same thing. I want to take a crusher to both sides, right? And I want this to go to crush the one on the right to crush to the left side and the one on the left to crush on the right side so they'll meet in the middle, right? So if I did that, what would actually show? What would be left if I crushed this curve or this graph into just left and right? I'm sorry, just up and down left, right? What's going to happen is that it's going to look something like this. It's going to go from here to about here, and that's all it's going to be, okay, and nothing else. Okay, so it's only going to go up and down and up and down and up and down, and it's only going to go as low as -2, touching -2, and go up to +2, touching +2. So my range is going to be the square bracket -2 comma +2 square bracket. So square bracket just means touches, like back in the day in high school when you did closed circles, right? Which is the less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, where the parentheses is kind of like an open circle, or less than or greater than. Okay, so it also brings back to high school. Now, question again, is it a function or not? So if you watch the video, function, again, when we brought that back up here in the second one, we said one input, two outputs, which means that the x repeats. Well, if x repeats, it's going to actually draw me a line that looks like this, a vertical line. So if I actually took this vertical line and shifted left and right around this graph here, is it going to cross this graph twice or more than once? And the answer is no. No matter where I put this, is not going to intersect that graph anywhere. Okay, so let me get rid of that. So therefore, this is a, okay. So with that being said, see here, I'm going to go ahead and box this up. Boom, go. Let's move it slightly there. Get back in a little bit. There we go. And that choice was choice D. There we go. Boom. All right, so there's choice D. All right, so off to number 4. Okay, so number 4 says find f of 0 given that f of x is equal to -19x squared plus 13x minus 3. And now I want to find f of 0. Well, if you look at these two graphs right here, these two things right here, what is the only difference? The only difference is that where x is now 0. So that's exactly what it's trying to tell you. It's telling you to replace all the x's with 0. Okay, so that's exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to say, okay, that's equal to -19 times 0 squared plus 13 times 0 minus 3. Okay, so order operation says to do exponent first, so I got 0 squared. Well, 0 squared is what? 0. 0 times -19 is 0. What's 13 times 0? 0. So essentially, f of 0 is equal to just -3. Okay, just up a little bit. And that was choice number C. this. That look very straight. That looks better. All right. So off to number 5. All right. So what does 5 say? Number 5 wants you to find the slope of the line given 2 points. So it's going to give you um, 5, -8, and -4, 5. So it wants me to find slope. Okay, perfect. So slope, what I know as slope is m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm going to do it this way. I want to make this red. Oh, I'm going to make this red, and I'm going to make this blue. All right. So a couple of ways I can do this, right? There's 2 ways I can write this. So all that y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1 is saying is stay consistent with the order that you put it down. So if I decide that I want to use the -8 first because that's the y value on the red point, and I'm going to minus the y value on the blue point, put that all over, and I got to use the red x first minus the x in the blue point. Or if I decide to use the blue point first, so if I use the blue y first, minus y value on the red point, that means I have to make sure when I do the x that I pretty much do this, do the same thing here. Okay, I have to use the blue x first. And okay, either way you do it, you're still going to end up having the same exact answer. And this answer is going to be equal to -13 over 9. All right, and this answer here is going to be 13 over -9, which I can't have negatives in the denominator, so therefore I want to move that negative up to the numerator anyways. Okay, so that's going to go away. So my slope is equal to that, which is choice number B. So let's box that. Okay, let's box that. There we go. Yeah, it's supposed to like Mac. Oop, go. All right. Let's try number 6 now. Okay, number 6. It wants you to find the slope of a line. So it's giving you 4y minus 2x equals -30. Well, what I know is this. Right? So sidebar here, I know that y is equal to mx plus b, right? So in other words, if I get y by itself, then I'm going to know the slope and the y-intercept. Okay, so if I get y by itself, the number that's in front of the x is the slope, and the number that stands alone is my y-intercept. Okay, great. So in other words, get y by itself. All right, so first I'm going to add 2x to both sides. So I get 4y is equal to 2x minus 30. Now you're probably going to ask, why did I write 2x first? Is it because it's positive? No, because over here at this form here, the x comes before the number that stands by itself. So I'm always going to write y on one side and then x plus or minus that last number that stands alone. Okay, so I'm staying in the same form or the same order per se. Now I have to divide everything by 4. Okay, so now I have y is equal to 1/2 x minus um, 15 over 2, because 2 can go into 4 and 30, so that reduces down to 15 over 2. 2 goes into 2 and 4, so therefore it becomes 1/2. Since now I have this all by itself, I know that this right here is my slope. This right here is my slope is equal to 1/2. And that is choice B. All right. Go. There we go. All right. All right. So that's number 6. Number 7. Let's come down to the next page. Okay. So number 7 is asking for the slope again, given 2 points. All right. So I'm given -5, comma, -6, and -5, comma, -8. Okay. So here, same thing, I can just say, all right, look, I want to make this red, and I'm going to make this blue, right? So if that's the case, I know that the slope is equal to y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. And I got to stay consistent, right? So I'm going to have -6 minus a -8 all over um, -5 minus a -5. Okay? And what do I get here? Yes, you can have -8 minus the -6, and then a -5 minus the -5 again on the bottom. So what is this going to give me? This is going to give me a 2, a 2, a 2 divided by 0. Okay? Now, if you don't know what this is, plug it into your calculator, and what you're going to see that this is going to be undefined. Okay? It's going to actually give you an error on your calculator. 2 divided by 0 is undefined. Now, I already knew that this was undefined. Question is why? So one of the things I'm going to always have you guys do is kind of virtually in your head plot these 2 points, right? If you plot these 2 points in your head right now, um, what you're going to see is a vertical line. And the slope of a vertical line is always undefined. And I'll explain in class that, um, an undefined, if it's a vertical line, you're going to have an undefined body when you're skiing on that slope. So I will always tell you, so like number 5, if you were to plot that in your head, you'll notice that going from left to right is actually going to go downward. So it's going to go downward, so I know I'm going to have a negative slope, where number 7, I'm going to see that it's a vertical line, so I'm going to know it's going to be an undefined slope. So that is going to be choice D. So let's try that. There we are. All right, and let's draw this line right across. Boom, right there. There we go. All right, so now let's get to number 8. All right, number 8. 8, 9, and 10 wants to know if these lines are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So let's say I have 54x minus 9y is equal to 5, and 6x minus y is equal to 7. Well, here's my question. What determines if they're parallel, perpendicular, or neither? Well, what determines that is based on their slope, okay? So if they were parallel, um, I don't like the way I'm writing there. Okay, so based on slope, okay? So if it was parallel, then slope 1 is going to equal to slope 2, okay? That part is easy. Perpendicular, the part that I want to bring up here is flip and negate. Oh, it looks like my pen just got really thin there, huh? Let's see. It's almost like my pen didn't get registered here. Come on. Yes, it is an Apple Pencil. Are you going to read it? Let's try again. Okay, it does not want to read it at all. And of course, every time I video, it always tries to do something like this to me. Right? What does this give me? Ah, gotcha. Okay, let's see if that worked. No? Hmm. Okay, hold it there. Perfect. Okay, so let's do this. Apologize for the long drawn out here. Flip and negate. Okay, so meaning if slope 1 was equal to, I don't know, -3/4, then slope 2 would have to be flipped. So let's flip the 3/4, which is 4/3, and negate. So since it was a -3/4, now it will become a positive 4/3. These two would be perpendicular slopes. Okay. Now, if it doesn't do either one, if it's not equal and you don't flip and negate, then therefore it's neither. Okay. So in other words, I have to find the slope. That's important. Okay. So if that's the case, then let's do that. Let's find the slope of each one of these. Let's move this down. Let's just focus on the slope on the first one. So I'm going to subtract the 54x over to the other side. So I'm going to have a negative 9y is equal to a negative 54x plus 5. And the reason why it's plus 5 is because the 5 is positive. So it's just going to be a plus 5. If the 5 was negative, it'd be a minus 5. Then I want to divide each term by negative 9. Okay. After dividing that, I'm going to have y is equal to positive 6x minus 5/9. Now, typically, this is where you guys freak out. You're like, I can't graph negative 5/9. You're right. You don't have to, because all I'm caring about is the fact that the slope is equal to 6 here. Okay, So now let's take the second equation and let's do the same thing. So I'm going to subtract 6x over to the other side. And then I'm going to divide every single one by -1. So after I do that, I'm going to have y is equal to 6x minus 7. So again, all I care about is that the slope is equal to 6. Oh, look, the two slopes are exactly the same. So therefore, it is parallel, which is A. A. So there we go. My box. Then goes up. There we go. All right, so number 9. I'm going to go ahead and head to the next page here for number 9. All right, number 9 has, so it's still asking about parallel, perpendicular, or neither, right? So again, I'm still needing the slope. So that's what I'm going to deal with. I want to write the first equation, and I'm going to go ahead and find its slope. So in other words, excuse me, I'm going to get the y by itself. So first thing I'm going to do, actually, you know what? Let's undo that. All right, so first I'm going to bring that 3x over to the other side by subtracting it. So I have 7y is equal to -3x plus 2. Then I'm going to divide everything by 7. So I'm going to have y is equal to -3 over 7x plus 2 over 7, which tells me that my slope is equal to -3 over 7. All right. So now I'm going to take the second equation, which is 7x minus 3y is equal to 21. So I got to subtract that 7x over. So -3y is equal to -7x plus 21. Now I'm going to divide everything by -3. So y is going to equal to 7 over 3x minus 7. Now, -7 divided by -3 is going to be +7 divided by 3. Okay, so now I have, let's try that again. Now I have, yay, that the slope here is +7 over 3. So I look at these two things here. Question is, can I flip and negate the -3/7 and get 7/3? And can I flip and negate the 7/3 and get -3 over 7? And the answer is yeah, for sure. So this would be perpendicular, which is choice B. I'll make sure that I have it on my sheet as B as well. So this is choice B. Let's try that again. It's choice B. There you go. Move that over just a tad. And put the line down. There we go. Right. So that's 9. Now off to 10. That's a problem, guys. All right, so 10. So same thing, parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So same thing, I'm going to get y by itself so I know what the slope is. So I got x plus 5y is equal to -11. So to get y by itself, I'm going to subtract the x over. So I got 5y is equal to -x minus 11. Divide everything by 5. So I got y is equal to -1 over 5x minus 11 over 5. So my slope here is -1/5. All right, so I want to take the second equation, 2x plus 5y equals negative 7. Okay, so same thing, subtract the 2x over, divide everything by 5. So it's negative 2 over 5x minus 7 over 5. So let's see here. My slope is negative 2/5. Okay, they're not the same. Can I flip and negate the negative 1/5 to make negative 2/5? No. So therefore, this would be a neither. And neither is choice C. Go. All right. So there we go. So hopefully that answers all your questions. If you have any other questions, please feel free to contact me. I'll talk to you later. See ya. Bye.